G'day gentlemen, thanks for tuning in once again. This video is MGTOW versus feminism part 2. Pretty much showing people the differences between MGTOW as compared to feminism. There has been some people out there saying that guys that have gone their own way are like feminists when they're nothing like feminists. I just want to thank everybody for their input. Thanks for commenting, thanks for viewing. This is pretty much a small project, but an important one where men's ideas have pretty much been put into this video that I can call mine, but really it's not mine, this is ours. And I like that because you guys sort of even allow myself to see things that I didn't see before. And there's a comment here by Underworld Dreams. Says, "You magnificent Australian bastard. Once again, you knock it out of the park. I regularly see people trying to say that MGTOW and feminism are just alike, but saying they are polar opposites doesn't do it justice. The beauty of MGTOW is that it can exist and flourish even without women's consent. And feminism would be over tomorrow if men collectively put their foot down and said no to the brats. No matter what women feminists are given, it will never be enough, so I think it's time to start taking away until they learn to appreciate what they have. Just like adults do with children, to teach them manners and respect." There are other comments as well. Another comment by Bitter Pill. Bitter Pill states, "These are some great points. Now, I know where to send people when they try and tell me that MGTOW is feminism for men. To add to the conversation, I would say that MGTOW don't demand legal and social changes when we don't like something. We don't need someone else to fix anything for us. We are the change that we want to see in the world." That is a very, very strong point. A couple of points there, actually. Now, MRAs are demanding social change. We may be MRAs deep down inside, some of us, a lot of us. There are men out there that don't even care if social change occurs and what have you. But we're not like, for example, the Voice for Men. We don't demand legal and social change when we don't like something. What we're doing is we're just going our own way. We don't even care if, many men don't care if legislation gets sorted out or not. Some of us do, I'll say that again, but that's just on an individual level. But generally speaking, MGTOW is just walking off and away from the plantation, and we are the change that we want to see in the world. See, when a man goes his own way, everything changes because he's pretty much turned his back on all the problems that he had. Just see you later, man. See your problem. I'm gone. Bye. It's a very, very strong point right there, or a couple of points at least. Now we also have another commenter by the name of Time Like 01. "It would be impossible for the plantation to exist in a resource-based economy. That's one reason why I advocate it." And Time Like 01 also left a second comment. "Also, a major difference between MGTOW and feminism is money. Feminism is a multi-billion-dollar industry, while what little money is being made from MGTOW is a tiny fraction of that." Very, very strong point there. I know that in Australia, what perpetuates this so-called domestic violence are the feminists or the feminist organisations, like the fake clone white ribbon, not Erin Pizzi's white ribbon, but the clone one that is pushing this white ribbon, whom are made up of a group of feminists. They pretty much disclose themselves that domestic violence is a $14.4 billion industry. So it is definitely, I mean, this is only Australia, that is. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're talking $14 billion and projected to be over $15 billion in Australia in the year 2015, being the year that we're in now. So this report was in 2014. But that there is very, very significant, this point right here. MGTOW, how much money would MGTOW make a year? It's not like that's what we're concerned about anyway. I see guys that ask for donations pretty much just requesting some, some little minuscule, when you're talking about, when you're comparing it to billions of dollars, it is not even, it's a speck of dust or a grain of sand in a desert as compared to the amount of money that is being made by this feminist model, this machine that is pretty much the hub of today's gynocentric society, the way I see it anyway. So that's a very important point there as well. And we have Joe Joseph. This is a comment I really liked. I liked them all. This one here stood out for me just that little bit more. Imagine a machine with a button, and every time you wanted something or didn't like something, you press the button and something is done about it, or at least elicits supportive agreement that something should be done. That's what it's like being a woman these days. Those I Need Feminism signs illustrate very well that women know this. And if anyone says something like, "For pity's sake, aren't you privileged enough yet?" that invokes the didn't like something scenario. So cry victim. Example, I'm getting hate speech, and press that button again, and the button gets increasing power and effectiveness with use, not less. So where does this end? I don't know, but I do know there is no analogous button for men, and certainly not for MGTOW. P.S. Don't wish for such a button for yourself. All it does is turn the user into a pathetic, selfish, destroyed human being. MGTOW, or men going their own way, don't have this button. This is something reserved, not like we are the ones reserving it, but it is something that governments give to females and females only, and these are the feminists that are pushing forth this type of agenda where whenever they have an issue, they just cry, put their hand up, and the government rushes there, whether it be via the police, whether it be family court, whether it be issuing a domestic violence, so-called domestic violence, apprehended domestic violence order, and the rest of it. So guys, once again, thank you. Look, for me, I've had some discussions with other people, whether they be in Hangouts, whether they be on other videos, and they've, even between the time that I actually posted the first video, MGTOW versus Feminism Part 1, people were like, "Oh, you guys that are going your own way, you're just like feminists." I'm like, here you go, here's a link, go watch it for yourself. It's much easier than just explaining it. So, and believe it or not, a few people actually were convinced. So thanks once again, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Bye. I really didn't want to make this video, but I just thought, due to the fact that I'm already experiencing what I am through the family court with my kids and the rest of it, I thought like sort of like an obligation to put this information out there because of what I did see in the family court in Parramatta, specifically in Parramatta, and any person that wants to go and just pretty much see what I saw, go ahead, go and witness it for yourself. Now, I've rocked up about 5, maybe 10 minutes earlier than my solicitor. I met my solicitor on level 2, caught the elevator up to level 2, and we're waiting. Well, I was waiting in a space on a bench in front of courtroom number 3. Courtroom number 3 is a separate room, completely separated from all the other rooms, in the sense where it's actually a separate room with 5 walls, 5 sides, a pentagon, and it can actually be walked around. You can actually walk around this entire room that has 5 walls, equal-sided walls. And funny enough, the wall that I was actually facing, this courtroom number 3 wall that I was facing, had 3 pieces of canvas, 3 paintings. painting on the left was a painting of a Babylonian swirling sun. The painting in the middle was a pentagram. All it was just a basic pentagram. And the painting on the right was a triangle. Maybe they were trying to somehow portray or project a pyramid. I don't know, but this is what I saw. Found it very, very interesting. Now, the actual courtroom I needed to walk into was courtroom number 2, which was right beside courtroom number 3. But courtroom number 2 is more of it's just your basic conventional standard room with a standard wall. Looks like it's a part of the building. You can't walk around it. Just normal. But to get into courtroom number 2, you have to actually walk through what is known as a gateway. 2 columns, one on the right, one on the left, with a stone on top. Now, it may not have been made out of stone. It could have been made out of timber, wood. But it's not there for any structural integrity. It's pretty much only there for design or for art form. So we have these two things I found very interesting, and I'll say it again. This is in Parramatta Family Court. Any person from Sydney, go there, go see this, man. It's freaky shit. So when I saw these things, I said, hang on, is there more than this? It never crossed my mind that I would see these type of things in a family court. I've turned around, and I've been there a few times. I've never actually paid attention to this crap. Now I've turned around and I go, okay, here's a massive circle. So the actual pivot for the whole court is this area that's made up of a circle, pretty much a circular window that looks down. We're on the inside, there's glass in front of us. This glass is all round. And inside that glass, this window, when you look down, there's some bush, some trees, and there's some chickens. They got chickens in the family court. What are these chickens supposed to portray? What are these birds supposed to portray? I don't know. I mean, are these birds supposed to be slaves that are entrapped, and we are higher, we're looking down on them, and